So you've likely heard you can tell a lot about a man based on how he treats his mother. Well, you can tell a lot about a person of any gender identity by how they treat themselves. So let's take a look at this from a leadership perspective. I talk a lot about awakened leadership, and whether or not you've heard this term or you understand it just yet, um, for this purpose is here nor there. But what you should know about awakened leadership is that people who lead in an awakened manner means that they are awake to feeling and learning from their emotions. They are emotionally mature. They are mentally strong. And they are people that understand that the greater good of their team or their department that they lead is to inspire and to empower their people. The greater good is to help support those people in a way that they are growing and they are evolving interpersonally, not just personally or professionally, but they are truly developing in a way that makes them want to do more and be a bigger part of the organization and its success ultimately. So, what does it look like when someone does not lead from an awakened place? Well, emotional immaturity or lack of ability to feel. And these are the people who manage from a passive aggressive standpoint. So their behaviors are reflecting how they feel about themselves. So that means they don't trust themselves. It means they're avoiding looking within and dealing with emotions that they've experienced or are experiencing, and they're not handling those and processing those. These are people who are very reactive and explosive and tend to project a lot onto their teams and their employees. These are people that when things don't go their way, they are, very quick to blame others rather than, someone who is emotionally mature might say, "Hey, like this didn't go our way. Let's all get together and figure out what we can do better next time." And trust in that process that it didn't go their way for a reason and there's something better waiting for them. And and these are also people who have healthy boundaries around work. They're not people that are overworking or asking their employees to overwork by setting that example. So a lot of burnout and turnover happens because of poor leadership. And if you are a leader yourself or you manage a team of leaders, whether you're at the C level or on the emerging leader level in your organization, if you see people are burning out often or are turning over often, look at who's leading them. Does that leader overwork or glorify overworking? And if so, that means that they're very much setting the expectation, not the example, because that's not setting an example. No one wants to be like that, hence why they're burning out, hence why they're leaving. That is not an example to be set. But if they set the expectation by them doing that themselves, and meaning they'll put their family aside, they'll put their own needs and their own wants aside, they will, the last thing before they go to bed, they're sending emails. The first thing in the morning, they're sending emails. They're working, many hours on weekends. Like these are the people that are not setting healthy boundaries for themselves, which means they're not respecting and honoring the other aspects of their own life. And if that is what your leaders are doing, that's the expectation they're setting, their employees are going to look at them in a sense of, gosh, like this isn't what I want. Like I don't actually want that person's job one day. I don't really want to work that hard or that crazy. By the way, one person's 150% could be another person's 95%. And the 95% might be just good enough for that job they're doing. So we have to be careful where our leaders are showing up, how they're showing up, and what they're bringing to the table and how that's affecting their employees. And the biggest aspect of leading from an awakened place, the biggest aspect of awakened leadership is taking a look at the self. If your leaders know themselves, respect themselves, and show up from an authentic place, which is not from here all the time. We need logic, yes. We need intellect, yes. But if they show up from a place where they're able to feel and they're able to connect with people on that level, your organization is going to feel and grow and look different in a positive light. There will be shifts and changes in a positive perspective for your employees and for your culture and your morale. So this is a topic I'll share a lot more about. I love the concept of awakened leadership. It is, to me, the way of the future. And I talk to a lot of executives about this concept often. And I know that there's a lot of sentiment out there about changing the way that we lead. So expect to hear more on this. And if you want to have a conversation, reach out anytime.